Hello, I'm Hannah from National Refrigerants. In this video, I'll show you how to complete a waste transfer note. I'll explain why the note is required, go through each section, and show you how to fill it out correctly. Waste transfer notes must be completed every time waste is moved. They ensure you follow the law and show waste is handled safely. Notes provide traceability, and keeping accurate notes also protects your business and makes audits easier. If you fail to provide a waste transfer note, you could be fined and can face further legal consequences, such as losing your license. Completing the consignment note before waste is moved helps prevent regulatory issues and ensures the waste is handled safely throughout its journey. For example, when a registered waste carrier collects waste, the consignment note must go with it to document the movement. Even if waste moves between your own company's sites, a consignment note is still required. Regulations cover all movements of controlled waste. And waste produced at a customer's site by another business also needs a consignment note. Now that we've covered that, we'll go through each part of the waste transfer note. Part A of the consignment note shows both the pickup point and the destination of the waste. When filling this section in, you start off with the consignment code. This is a unique reference number for each waste removal job. It helps track waste throughout its journey. You create the consignment note code yourself. There isn't a website or authority that issues it. The code always follows the format of 6 letters or numbers / 5 letters or numbers. The example for a company called IceTech is as you can see on the screen. The first part uses the first 6 letters or numbers from the company name in Part A where the waste originated. There are no spaces or symbols in the first section, and if the company name has fewer than 6 characters, add Q until it reaches 6. Then you've got the slash, which simply separates the two parts of the code, and then the second part is exactly 5 letters or numbers, and they are chosen by you. They must be different each time waste is moved from the same address. They can also have an extra letter at the end, but only in special cases. Now going back to the note, next you provide full addresses for both the collection site and the delivery site, so you would fill this in as you can see on the screen now. Next is the premises code. This code shows the exact location where the waste was originally produced. So where can you obtain a premises code? This code is not made up, it comes from official sources. These sources include the Environment Agency or equivalent regulator, your company records, or waste transfer note software or forms. Every site producing or storing waste must have a registered code for use on waste transfer or consignment notes. The format of a premises code typically is a unique alphanumeric code. For a company like IceTech, it could look like something that you can see on the screen now. Now we move on to the 5th section. This is only completed if applicable, so when do you fill box 5? You fill it in if the waste producer is different from the organization in Part A2. The examples of this would be that waste was produced by a contractor, or the business listed in Part A2 as an on-site facilities management company. So what do you enter? If the producer is different, you enter the full details of that producer. So you would fill this in again, like so. And now an example explanation for this note would be that the refrigerant gas was recovered from equipment by Polar Cool Refrigeration Services whilst working at IceTech's offices. So therefore Polar Cool is recorded as the waste producer in Part A5. Part B outlines the specific waste being transported. For this section, you start with the SIC code. The SIC code shows the type of business activity that produced the waste. It helps regulators and waste handlers understand the nature of the waste. You can find this code on your company's house registration, from the Gov.uk SIC code list, and in your company's internal records. Next, you record the key details of the waste being transported. The first bit is major component. This is the main substance or chemical in the waste. Then you've got the quantity, so you record the total weight or volume of the waste in each cylinder. Remember to be as accurate as possible. Then you've got the cylinder type. This refers to the size or type of cylinder containing the waste. And lastly, you've got the cylinder serial number. This is a unique serial number on the cylinder, and you can find this on the valve protection collar. If the gas cylinder is classed as 2.1, meaning it's flammable, you would put an asterisk in the type box. After you've done all of the above and you run out of space to record more of the waste, you tick the continuation sheet box whenever extra space is needed. This ensures everyone knows additional details are provided. Sometimes the main waste transfer note doesn't have enough space for all the details. In that case, we use a continuation sheet. On a continuation sheet, you'll see a field labeled blank of blank. This is used to show how many continuation sheets are being used for that consignment. You can use as many continuation sheets as needed, remembering that each continuation sheet should also include the same consignment code as the main note, so it is clearly linked. So you start with the consignment code, you write the same consignment code as on the main note at the top of the continuation sheet. This then links the additional information to the correct consignment. Next, you record the additional waste details, so you include the same information as in part B3. So you've got the major component, quantity, cylinder type, and the cylinder serial number. And again, if the gas cylinder is classified as flammable, you'd put an asterisk in the type box. Moving on, the consignee certificate on the continuation sheet is where the recipient confirms they have received the waste and will handle it responsibly. We will go into this in more detail later on the main note. This will be signed the same as on the main note. Part C of the waste transfer note is the carrier certificate. This is where the carrier confirms they are responsible for transporting the waste and enter their own company and vehicle information. If multiple carriers are used, you tick the box and attach a schedule onto the note. The carrier will then fill in their details. So you've got the carrier name. This is usually the driver or person completing the note. They are the one physically transporting the waste and signing the note. And the on behalf of box, which is the carrier company they are working for. It shows which registered waste carrier company is responsible for that consignment. So you put the business name, address, phone numbers, and email. After that, you've got the carrier registration number, the vehicle registration number, and it's important to note that the note is only valid for the specific carrier company and vehicle indicated. The carrier will then sign, date, and time it, and this section is then finished. So now moving on to Part D. By signing Part D, the consignor confirms the information in Parts A and B is accurate and complete, and that the waste is being handled, stored, and transferred in accordance with environmental regulations. The consignor must provide their name, company, signature, date, and time. After the completion of Parts A to D, the consignor will keep one copy of the note, pass one copy to the producer or holder if different from the consignor, and they will hand the other copies back to the carriers. And then this is Part D finished. Moving on to Part E. Part E is the consignee certificate, where the waste recipient confirms they have received it and will manage it safely. For this section, you start with accepting or rejecting the EWC code. The EWC code is a 6-digit code that classifies the type of waste. It tells regulators, carriers, and treatment facilities exactly what kind of waste is being transported. You've got the accepted and rejected boxes. Accepted means this type of waste is suitable for the treatment or disposal method selected, and rejected means this waste cannot be treated using the method selected and must not be processed that way. So where do you obtain an EWC code? You can get it from the UK government's guidance on classifying waste, from safety data sheets for the product or chemical, or your company's internal compliance or waste management records. Next, you circle the waste management operation code. This shows what will happen to the waste. So you've got R, which stands for recovery, meaning the waste will be recycled, reclaimed, or recovered. And you've got D, which stands for disposal, meaning the waste will be destroyed, incinerated, or sent to landfill. So where do you obtain these codes? The full list of R&D codes is in the European Waste Catalogue and Hazardous Waste Classification Guidance that you can find on Gov.uk. Your licensed treatment or disposal facility can confirm the correct code for your waste. You then record the time and date of when you received the waste, and then the vehicle registration number. This is for the vehicle that delivered the waste to you. Then the consignee must provide the individual's name, company name, address, contact details, signature, date, and the time of receipt. And then you're done with filling in the note. So now that we've gone through the waste transfer note from start to finish, here are some key points. Always fill in the consignment note completely before moving waste. Check and record all details in parts A to C, which are the addresses, waste codes, vehicle and carrier information. Use continuation sheets if needed and make sure they are attached and signed. Ensure all parties, which are the carrier, consignor and consignee, complete their sections correctly. And remember that accurate documentation shows compliance, ensures safe handling, and keeps the waste traceable. For hazardous waste, consignment notes must be kept for a minimum of 3 years. This is a legal requirement, and the note must travel with the waste until it reaches its final destination to ensure compliance. So if you've done all of this, this means that the note has been filled in and stored correctly. I hope you find the video useful, and you can come back to rewatch this as and when needed for support. Thank you for watching.